Welcome to the Postpartum is Forever podcast. My name is Katura Stoltenberg. I am a mother of 2 young men and a postpartum doula. This podcast is dedicated to all mothers and is a place to hear honest, relatable conversations with the intention of helping mothers feel seen, heard, supported, and valued. I believe that postpartum is forever and that sharing our stories is a powerful way that we facilitate connection with ourselves, our children, and our community. Thank you for being here. Hi Ysaline'S, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very delighted.
Good. I want to know a little bit about you. So tell me a bit about your background and your children. How old are they and where you're placed in the world?
So I'm French, first of all, which is also important to share. And I've been living in Australia for 2.5 years. And before that, we were in Bangkok for 4 years, where both my kids were born.
Okay.
So I have a daughter who is named Anaïs. She's 5.5, and my son Florent, who is almost 4. And on top of that, I'm also a life coach and doula. And I'm also passionate in supporting parents in their journey of being a mother, being a parent together.
Lovely, yeah. So can you take us back to your experiences in having babies? Just briefly recount your birth experiences.
So, both of them were born in Bangkok. For both my kids, I didn't know about doula and all the support I could have as a mother as well. So for my second child, I prepared myself a little bit more for the birth. While for my first child, I just went a little bit without knowing much, thinking everything would be like straightforward. And then I became a mother, and I realized that having support, help to prepare birth as well, would have been also very beneficial. So it's been a big learning experience for me. But I would say in general, my birth, I was lucky that my birth went well with no complication, and that it's a beautiful memory as well.
So for both of them, you'd say both of your births went well without complications?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish if I had to do it again, I would do it differently and to have more knowledge on the power we have as women to give birth, and that there's many things we don't know, or that we may have people to make decisions for us, but we actually have the power to birth our babies, whether we want support, like medical support, as long as we make our own choice as well. And I really, it's one of something I love to support women and the partners of the power they have to give birth and to do this as a teamwork as well, to really birth. It's a transition. It's something that we are going through, and it's the most transformative transition we have in our life. And the birth itself, it's the start of birthing as a mother as well.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I think going into birth, we don't really realise the full impact of what we're about to do.
Yes. And I would add as well that there's a birth and then there's a recovery after that we don't hear a lot enough about, and we expect mother to be back on their feet pretty easily, or we even as a mother think, oh, I have to go back to normal life, instead of taking that transition a bit more slower and to organize ourselves to have that slow and present moment.
Yeah. So then I guess let's go through some of that postpartum time with you. So maybe share with us initially about your first postpartum. What was that like?
So my first postpartum, so again, I didn't make a lot of research, and I had my mum with me, which was a beautiful help as well. I wish I would have asked for help outside of my partner, my mum, who were amazing to support me, but very quickly I went back to normal life, going out very quickly and not realizing that the power of the recovery and just take time to eat well, and I just wanted to move forward very quickly instead of just embrace fully my transition as a mother. Breastfeeding was pretty challenging, and straight away at the hospital they were telling me you don't have a lot of milk, so you should start formula. So I started formula at the hospital, and of course it impacted my breastfeeding journey, and I was thinking to ask for help, but I didn't do it much, and I think it impacted me. But with that experience I did better with my second kid as well. So postpartum was good with my first daughter, and I would say she was very easy as well in terms of sleeping. So of course I was affected with sleep, but it was still okay. But for me, my postpartum was a little bit different because I lost my dad when she was 2 months, so we had to fly back all the family to France. There was good part of it for my family to meet my daughter, but obviously I lived through two transitions in one, and I didn't really fully embrace each of them, trying to move forward. Yeah. So it was also a learning experience. Yes.
I'm sorry that you lost your father, and no doubt that would have had some impact on your emotions and how you felt. And do you feel like that impacted any parts of your postpartum, or did you just feel like I've got to get on with things now?
Yes. So I think it was I need to get going, but definitely I think when I look back, yes, it definitely impacted, and for a year I was not sure what to do professionally. I knew I didn't want to go back to my corporate job, so I feel like every experience, even if they are challenging, bring us lesson as well, and I learned a lot during that year after my daughter was born. The year was when my father passed away, and I tried to reflect a lot on that period was tough, and at the same time we traveled a lot with my daughter, so it was a mix of emotions and big learning as well.
Yeah.
Because during that year also decided to change career. Like I made the decision to start training to be a life coach.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. Wow. It was a big year.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I talk a lot about matrescence and how it changes us, and often we don't feel like we are the same person, and then we don't really feel aligned with the work that we used to do before we had children. But I'd love to hear from your fresh perspective how you would describe how matrescence changes you in terms of moving forward with your work, and just how you want to show up in the world.
Yeah, matrescence is a big word, a big transformation that I had no idea before I became a mother. I knew, of course, becoming a mother will be a change. But in my old way of thinking was like, I'm going to have kids. It's okay. I can keep going. And then my second kid arrived. And for me, the matrescence, I really felt that matrescence. Not straight away, probably. I was mentally, I didn't have the space for it. especially my second kid was born during the pandemic, which made things harder, like for many other moms as well. So, and the matrescence for me, it's a big topic also that I love to share with my client as a doula, and it's transformational and really, yes, as you said, we are different, and I know sometimes it can be a bit scary to say, oh, I'm going to be different. It's kind of feel we are out of our comfort zone. And but also it's a way of discovering ourselves and rediscovering who we are and what we really want, and to review our values, relationship with our partner, and the matrescence. I really want the world to know about it. And I feel we don't talk a lot about transition in general. So the matrescence for me is transformational, and I'm still working on it. I think it's a life journey as well, the matrescence of who we are and how we can pass the good values to our children as well.
Absolutely, yeah, and the very reason why this podcast is called Postpartum is Forever, because matrescence is forever, and postpartum really just means after birth. So that would be your lifetime, really. A lifetime of being a mother. Yeah. And you're right, a lot of people find it a bit unsettling because not everyone appreciates change. But it's not and they also may not feel that they want to lose themselves, which is understandable. And we don't have to lose every part of ourselves. But we also we don't need to keep adding on to our life. Like, we've got our job, we've got our marriage, we've got our child. It's okay to move and grow with those transitions, and really beautiful things can come out of it.
Yes, it's a way also to find a balance between being a mother, being a woman, being a wife, a friend, and to find that balance and not forgetting ourselves as well. Because if we want to give to our kids, we need also to look after ourselves. And I know it's hard sometimes. Sometimes we're like, I don't have the space for me. But there is always a way to find little things to fill our cup as well. And it's what I do as well as a doula, as a life coach, to really help moms to find small things to give them some fulfillment.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, a lot of the time we are last on the list, but we shouldn't be making that constantly. We shouldn't be consistently last on the list. So there are times when there is some sacrifice, but not allowing ourselves to get stuck in that and feeling like, okay, that's it. We no longer have any needs
And I think the needs is very important. It's something I've learned as well as a coach, but also as a person being coached. The importance of what are my needs outside of the physiological needs, but what are my personal needs and how can I fulfill them as well.
Yeah, that's it. So take us through the second postpartum. Tell us more. So that one sounds a little bit more challenging. Can you explain what some of the challenges were?
It was definitely more challenging because my mom was supposed to be here. She couldn't come because of the pandemic, and that constant not knowing for me was very hard. And we had to postpone our trip many times and to France, and we couldn't, as many people had no vision of the future. And for me, it was devastating. And I guess because I was extremely vulnerable emotionally, mentally, physically, it was hard, and I didn't realize the importance of caring for myself with good food. And so, that postpartum was hard, even though being in Thailand, I had some help with my other kids, but I was not looking well after myself. And so I was feeling depressed a lot without necessarily realizing it. Some of my friends and friends would say, Isa, you're not well. And so it was hard for my husband as well. And what was very hard, it was a lack of sleep, which we didn't have much with my daughter, with my first kid. And lack of sleep was, I realized, it was definitely a torture. not to have sleep, and I didn't realize that could be the case.
Yeah.
And it was a kind of vicious cycle because he was not sleeping, but then I was stressed, so of course there was less sleep. And because we think, okay, my kid has to sleep at a certain time, it has to sleep, but also it was a lot of limited belief around sleep, and I learned a lot with sleep now.
Say that again. What about sleep? A limiting?
Limited belief.
Yes, I thought so, yeah.
Our kids have to sleep,
Yeah.
but actually they are kids, they are babies, and they don't know how to sleep. Some babies gonna sleep very easily on the first day, but some takes more time, more need safety as well. And I think I was putting a lot of pressure on myself that my kids has to sleep.
Yeah.
And now I have a completely different vision as well, and mindset. But yeah, lack of sleep, and it's still sometimes, but was definitely one of the most difficult challenge because I was not fully present with my son, with my daughter, with my husband, and I would say I didn't ask enough help.
I trust you are enjoying this episode. I know that if you are listening to this podcast, you are likely a woman who deeply cares about her mothering practices. I invite you to sign up to my email list found on my website, motherhoodwithkatura.com.au, for semi-regular emails that include blogs, recipes, and information relating to a variety of motherhood topics. If you are pregnant or know someone who is, head over to my website and sign up to receive your free copy of the postpartum checklist and important contacts list. And so that we can get these conversations out to more mothers, I'd be grateful if you could like, share, and review this podcast. It really does make a difference. Back to the episode.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think we can't always blame ourselves either because it is a societal issue, isn't it?
Yes.
There's not a lot of help that comes forward for you. It's not very forthcoming. So it's one of those things that we also don't want the pressure of thinking that it is our responsibility to ask for help. And I think that's something that we're all working on as a society, isn't it? To be knowing the needs of new mothers, and that's a lot of our work.
Yes.
Is to teach mothers, educate them on, what's not negotiable, and sleep is certainly number one. We should be prioritising rest at least, whatever shape or form that comes in. I was talking to a single, I think he was about 30-year-old guy last night, and he said that in his work, which doesn't happen very much, but over the last week he had to do the night shift. And it was actually quite comical because he was just going on about how terrible it was. And he said, by the fifth day, I just was so angry and so hangry and angry and hungry and not wanting to see anybody, not wanting to talk to anybody. And I said, do you realise that that's what a mother will go through for potentially years, is this kind of lack of sleep with all its consequences? So it's such a big thing that we are going through having a baby, and then, compounding that with a lack of sleep. It's really hard. It's not, I said to this guy, it's a form of torture.
Exactly. Yes.
And he goes, I can't imagine. And I'm like, yeah. So it's really a difficult thing, and we need to be kind to ourselves, and knowing that what we're going through, most people, if this was a paid job, they'd be walking off the job by now.
Yes, and we know there's not a lot of sleep when a baby is born, and also when you have a good village around you, being well nourished as well from the inside, it also helps a bit more to fight with a lack of sleep.
Yeah.
Because often there's a lack of sleep, but there's a lack of care as well around the mother.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot as well to do for the mother, for her to feel loved and nourished and cuddled and yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. We should be trying to think of, I hate that word, I'm going to cut that out. I keep saying should. If we can think of what our basic physiological needs are for that day, at the very least. So have we got a warm meal for that day?
Yeah.
And if we can't do it, which is most likely, we need to find ways to outsource that. Mm-hmm. Have we had equivalent to what we would normally have in sleep before we had children in a resting phase? Have we been to the toilet regularly? Have we had enough water? So sometimes it's just stopping and thinking of some of those basic things, because those things really do become compounded when we're already in that space of, exhaustion, and overwhelm.
Exactly, and it's what you're saying. Remind me of when a kid is having a tantrum. If you talk to him through during that difficult phase, it's hard for him to move forward. But if something we talk about it before, it takes you can understand more. And I feel like when you know it before as well as a mom, okay, I know I need support. I know I'm gonna need some ways of having hot meal for me to be able to sleep. It's a bit better to go through it afterward as well when you have the right village. And I know sometimes it's hard because we don't have family around. We are new to the city or to the area, but I'm convinced there is always a way to find support, and it can start with offering meals to the mother instead of clothes for the baby, for instance, and really to care about the mother. The baby has the love from his parents anyway, and the mother needs a lot of different way of love and caring.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The more work we do before having a baby, the more easily these things will come to us to reach out for.
Yes, and it doesn't mean that everything will be easy in postpartum, because it's a transition, and transition are challenging. And sometimes it's good to embrace, okay, I feel sad today. And it's okay to feel sad, as we teach our kids often. And if I have the right support, I can just also be held and supported. And I'm convinced it makes a big difference.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing those reflections. Yeah, I totally agree. So I think you mentioned off camera that your baby was crying a lot. Can you share with us, that's a very difficult thing to be going through on top of already feeling, at our limit. Can you give some tips to how to manage that? I know that, I didn't do that perfectly. None of us can. So we're not going to get it right all of the time. It is going to be very frustrating, and it can really test our nervous system. Is there anything that you can that you suggest? What helped you through the crying?
So crying is hard because you don't know what to do, especially when you're vulnerable yourself. Mm-hmm. And I would say to ask, again, it's kind of my keyword, but it's to ask for help. Whether it's your partner that can support you to. And I remember one night when my son was very small, I just couldn't stand anymore that he was crying, and I asked him, can you just take him? And it helps, and it's really to have that support as well of the partner, the involvement of the partner. When there is a partner, if there is no partner, to ask either a family member or someone that you can rely on, really to help you, because we are not meant to be a parent or mother by ourselves. And it's okay as well to take your kid on. I would say another tip that I guess I didn't apply back then, but that I would do now. It's okay if kids fall asleep on us. It's okay if they don't sleep in their bed straight away. They will become independent. There is no rush for, as long as it's okay for you, for the mom. Because sometimes I'm not gonna take my kids in my bed or in the co-sleeping because it's not good for him. They need that connection. They need that support, and they will get independent. They will sleep later on, but they need that safety and confidence. And being in with the mother for 9 months in the womb as well, some baby needs more safety than others. So I would also add, asking for help, and as a kid, your baby is being carried, held. They need that love as well and reassurance, especially when there is some stress or unexpected event that happens. So in my case was a pandemic, and it's okay. And it's normal as well to feel that way.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we still have a lot of old wives' tales or mindsets about spoiling our baby, or, babies are going to become too attached. But really, if we understand the biology of babies at that stage, it's the best thing that you could possibly do for you as well, because we are made to co-regulate with our babies. So we can actually sync our nervous systems, and it can calm both of us. So contrary to what we might be told on the outside, listen to what feels right and bring your baby close to you and just feel into that and see how that feels. And our kids are going to grow up, they're going to be independent, and we'll miss those cuddles later. So
yes, and sometimes mother would say, but I just don't want because it's too much. And it's back to my first tip of asking for help, asking if your partner is working, maybe have a friend to come over and really to be here for you. And really, I know asking for help can be very hard, and it's not always in our culture to ask for help, but it makes a difference. And we really need the village to raise our kids.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It applies in early postpartum, late postpartum. When we are parents as well, it can be at any time that we need as well.
Yeah. And I think other mothers want to help too. So, mothers are more than happy to say, I'll have your baby for an hour, and you go out for a little walk. Or so people we trust, lean in on them.
Yep.
It's okay to offload your baby. It's not completely and wholly your responsibility. You can let the neighbour hold your baby if that's someone that you trust. So as long as the baby's with a loving adult, they'll be fine. But the main thing is the mother's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we have a long-term impact on the mother, on the relationship with the partner, on the family dynamic as well.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it has a beautiful flow-on effect. So tell us a little bit more about your work. So obviously your passion has come from being a mother as well. What do you bring to the table in terms of your personal experiences and what you've trained as professionally?
So I'm a doula and a life coach, and since I was a kid, maybe 7, 8, I've always loved babies, loved being surrounded by mother. And it's been always a passion. I had cousins who had babies when I was 8 or 9. My brother had kids when I was 12. So I've always been surrounded in that environment, atmosphere, and I just loved it. I love babysitting, looking after the babies, being with the mom. When I remember my sister-in-law, when she was breastfeeding, I would just be with her, or pregnant. And anyway, when I was in high school, I wanted to be a midwife, but I didn't do it. And so I went to a business school, and then when I was pregnant with my second kid, I was supporting my cousin with her pregnancy. I was doing my life coaching training, and then I had a big realization that I want to support women, mother. I was even thinking to become a midwife, and then I understand what was a doula, and I had a realization, yes, it's what I want. It's in line with me, with my values, with a life coach as well. There's a lot in common. And it's how I decided to go on that path. And it's such an evidence as well for me. It took me some time to become a doula because I myself had my second kid, and it's been on and off. And when we moved to Australia, so my son was 14 months. So a few months after, I did some research to become a doula here in Australia. So I trained with the Australian Doula College. And also I trained as a Rebozo practitioner. So I use Rebozo with my clients in a very slow, and deep approach of a massage of around 90 minutes to really allow mother to have that time, but not too long either. And the idea is really to bring a really slowness in the body for the nervous system as well, to balance, for the mother to be cuddled, wrapped, rocked herself from head to toes, and really also to give her a space to share any emotions, feelings she's going through, or any attention she wants to give to that massage. And yeah, really to go back to herself. And I offer that whether women are pregnant or even before being pregnant, in postpartum, years after, any time in their life, or any time in like when they need it, whether it's just for self-care or it's a life transition they go through, motherhood or other transitions. We go through many transitions in life. So it's really to give them some care, and really in a slow way, because we always run everywhere. We don't have sometimes a lot of present moments, and it's to give that space to mother women of having that time for themselves.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
I'm going to be booking in. So a little bit about Rebozo. Did you want to say where it comes from and the roots of it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the roots are from Mexico. It's been used by generation by women, mainly around birth, pregnancy, postpartum, and it's also there is a physical of after birth of closing the body in pregnancy to open the body, and it's a beautiful scarf, shawl in cotton that is made in in Mexico, and it's like an extension of our hands when we use it, and it has a special energy as well on the body, and so there is like many Rebozo throughout the body of the woman, and it's not just physical, but it's emotionally as well that bring a sensation of releasing physical tension, but also stress or emotion we can go through, and so it's a beautiful ancestral tradition as well.
Yeah, I really love the ancestral cultural practices.
Yes.
We can learn a lot from them.
Exactly, and it's really a way to send love to a mother as well, and to her baby.
Yeah, bring her back into her body, because life with a newborn is very relentless, and it can feel very much like you don't have a body anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in the early postpartum, and also sometimes late, a few years after, we're like, we need a bit of, okay, what sense I want to give to my life, and the Rebozo can also help to reflect on where we are in life.
Yeah, exactly.
And where we want to be and what we want to do.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, it's definitely something that I think would be very nurturing, and even just honouring our body for what it's been through, and for our womb, and the way that it's served us so well to bring life into the world. It's definitely something that over in the Western world, I think we need to just pause and honour that space.
Yeah, and exactly, and to go back to your question of, my work is really to honour women in each transition they go. Of course, motherhood is a big transition I support my clients with, and there are other many transitions. Sometimes they are small and unique to each of us, and sometimes they are bigger, and it's also to embrace each transition we go in life, and we don't allow ourselves always that.
No, we just move on without reflecting often.
Exactly. And it's a big value for me. I also want to give to my kids as well.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So also you do some mother circles. Can you tell us about those?
Yes, I do organize more and more mother woman circle, really to nourish the mother, to have her space. So it's a mother circle, but for her to be back, I'm a woman as well, and just to have some nourishment, slowness as well. Gonna organize a new circle as well with another postpartum doula soon. And also in the future planning to organize circle with mums and babies for them to teach something with their babies, whether it's like a baby massage or communication with their baby, and also for them to have a space where they can share things and also create connection with other mums.
Yep.
And on top of that, I also organize a cafe, monthly cafe for mums, for them to connect each other and really not to feel alone. Because especially when we live far from families, close friends, when we are a foreigner, we don't always have big community. And for me, it's key to have a village of friends as well, because sometimes by sharing things, it's normal what I feel.
Yes.
She's going through that as well. And it helps us to move forward as well.
Yeah. Without connection, motherhood can be a very lonely place. So that's lovely. And which area are you based in case there's some listeners in your part of Sydney that might want to reach out for this?
So eastern suburb, but to be more precise, I'm in Redfern.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes.
Yeah. So this has been a lovely conversation. What would you say, Ysaline's, about what you've learnt from becoming a mother? It's a big question.
It's
maybe
a big question.
Maybe what you've learnt about yourself that you didn't know that you had before.
Yeah, it's the power of having the right people around us, and also being a mother is a fabulous journey of the love I get from my kids, the love I can give them, and what we create as a family as well with my husband, because obviously there is up and down in the relationship as well, but we learn a lot from it. And so for me it was a big learning as well. Okay, so what do I want for my family? What do we want as parents as well for our kid? And really to understand the woman I am, and that I'm different from yesterday, but still there's a mix of who I am and how to deal sometimes that we have anger as a mother, and something also to work on, and it's okay that there is some challenging moments.
Yeah,
it gets better as well.
Yeah, so not really undermining that it's hard.
Yes.
And it will cause us to maybe feel a bit unsettled at times, but it's a time where if we ride the waves, we can see so many beautiful things come out of the other side.
Exactly, and the more we have the right people around us, and I would say at any stage, whether it's during pregnant, even before, or in pregnancy, in postpartum, but years after, sometimes we have a lot of challenge where our kids are older as well. Yeah. My kids are almost 4 and 5.5, and it's different challenges when they were babies.
Yeah.
And really, when we have the right community, whether it's friends, whether it's health professional as well, it's for me it's a big learning as well of not doing it by myself, and to have the right knowledge as well to make sure we make the choices that are right for us, and not because someone said so.
Yeah, that's great advice. So would you say, the question I often ask, you've probably just answered, would that be your answer to what you know now that you wish somebody had told you before becoming a mother?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I guess it's not easy to listen to advice when you're about to have a baby, or because you have your own way of, okay, I'm going to do it this way. I don't want to know too, like, there are things that I'm doing my own research, and sometimes it's hard to get to hear what other people would tell us. But I would even add on that, really to be open to what you can hear, and then to make your own choice as well, that makes things right for you, and not because maybe your friend would do it differently, and that's okay. You are friend for also different reason. It's okay to be different as well.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, that's really true. There's a lot of conflicting ideas out there and conflicting ideas, advice. And yeah, just letting it land what feels right and going with that and using what you feel right in the gut about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was about to say about the intuition as well, and to have open discussion with your partner as well, and really to listen.
Working on the
to
same
yourself.
page. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Beautiful. So I can't remember what the last question is. What is it? Okay. If you could say, to wrap it up, if you could say something encouraging to a mother who might be struggling right now as they're listening to this, what would you like to say to her?
So I might repeat a little bit myself, but really what kind of help can you receive? Sometimes, it's uncomfortable to ask for help, but really even if it's just a friend to share what you feel, what you're going through, or whether it's attending some events, really to have what right now who can help you to really support you and help you to be better, whether it's a friend or just to have someone to come to your place to help. Sometimes I feel like we are stuck in what we're going through, and when we just put word on it or have someone to hold space for us, it also makes a difference. So whether it's to have someone to come at your place or to go to a circle and go out, go ask for help around you. Yeah, it has to be something kind of easy or like to reach around. Yes, yeah. Because sometimes when it's a bit too difficult, we tend not to do it because it's outside of our comfort zone. So if it's like a big struggle now, it's to do something that's easy to reach. So I would say ask for help, and I would say to ask yourself, okay, what is the one thing I could do for myself now that will give me some sparkle as well.
Yeah. And it's okay to put your baby down if you need to reset, if you need to just step outside and feel the sun on your face or put your feet in the ground.
Exactly. Yeah. The nature has a lot to bring, even if it's just being outside on the street or in the park close by.
Yes, yeah. And I think not everyone has family support that's useful to them, so it's okay to reach out for professional help too. And doulas are coming very handy here because they meet you where you're at, and there's no judgment, and there's no need to feel like you're a bad mum or you're not doing a good job if certain things are coming up for you. Feelings of, maybe perhaps anger or rage or frustration, it's all normal. So as you said, talking that out with somebody can actually make it feel so much less heavy for you.
Yes. Yeah. And to go back on your point of having a health professional or doula is different from having a friend as well. And to give the example of the doula, as you said, they will really hold space for you in where you are and let you cry if you need to cry. Often as mother, we tend to not to cry too much, or crying is, I find it very positive. Yeah. And helps to release anything we go through, and when we let it out, it helps. And sometimes when we let out words, we find answers. That's what I often say to my client. I do life coaching session as well, and I do use a lot of life coaching tools in my doula session. Is okay that I'm not going to give you advice, but it's going to come from you as well by asking questions or just by saying things, and you will find as well what works for you.
Yes, yeah, love that. So thank you, Ysaline's. This has been just a beautiful conversation because I've loved that you've brought who you are as a person, your character, your spirit, but your mothering, and then how you've used that to work in this motherhood space, which is kind of just seems a natural progression for you. And And how can women reach out to you?
So for now, women can reach to me via my Instagram, which is mamamo.isa. This is how they can reach me, and I'll be more than happy to have a chat with them, whether they need help in their postpartum or at a later stage in the mother life as well, or before as well, conception, because when we become a mother, we are mother for life, and we have challenges or need help at any time as well, and it's important to reach a doula as well. A doula can be here at any time in your life. A doula is here to support women.
Yeah, that's it.
Mothering the mother.
Exactly. I think it's good to bring awareness to that, because as women and mothers, we go through so many transitions, and some of the ones that I can think of that are more significant are children starting school, or children leaving school, as where I'm at, or leaving the home. These are really big ones. Perimenopause or menopause. So there's many times where it's okay, and it's more than okay. It's actually very, very necessary to reflect again, to honour yourself, to remember that this is a big change in your life, and to do something that honours that change and helps you feel clearer in the head about where you're moving forward. I think that Rebozo massage treatment is a great life transitional treatment.
Exactly.
So that's great. All right, I'll put all your information on the show notes. It's been really lovely to speak to you, and I hope we can do it again.
Thank you so much. It was a beautiful moment for me to share, my mothering experience, my experience as well as a doula and life coach, to really support mother and make them feel better and to be where they want as well.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and
it's such a pleasure. Yeah. I hope that you enjoyed this episode and that it offered something helpful to your own mothering experience. If you are a pregnant woman or know someone who is, head over to my website to receive your free copy of the postpartum checklist and contact list. And if you'd like to be better prepared for your postpartum, both practically and mentally, purchase the Peaceful Postpartum ebook, a 52-page interactive guide on what you need to know and what matters most in postpartum. And so that we can get these conversations out to more mothers, I'd be grateful if you could like, share, and review this podcast, and we'll see you next time.